Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Staff Sergeant. My name is Specialist Kyle Bowles, and today we are going to be discussing developing resiliency in the squad. Today's briefing is the information in today's briefing is going to be unclassified, so no security risk. Slides are public. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. So on the agenda today, we're going to go ahead and begin with an introduction. So we're going to discuss how do you define resiliency, what does it mean in the Army, what is its significance within the squad, why is it important. Then we're going to dive into the three identified prominent methods for developing resiliency and maintaining its use within a squad. And those three methods are going to be effective leadership, squad cohesion, and persistence. The brief will conclude with a review of everything discussed and an opportunity for questions at the very end. Okay. So according to dictionary.com, resilience is defined as the ability of a person to adjust to or recover readily from illness, adversity, major life changes, etc. So to me, this can be interpreted in many ways. To me personally, I feel that resilience is the determination to keep pushing towards accomplishing an end goal or completing a mission, even when you are feeling discouraged or mentally and physically exhausted. So that means you're out in the field for a field training exercise, it's been several days, you're hungry, you're cold, maybe even wet if it's been raining, and instead of giving up and just saying, oh, I hate this, I wanna just go home already, I can't wait for this to be over with, you just push forward, you encourage your battle buddies, and you just never give up. I think we can all recall a time in our lives when we refused to give up even though we may have wanted to. I think a good example for any soldier, as we've all been through it, would be basic training. Basic training was very challenging, both physically and mentally. I thought it was more so mentally challenging than anything. And just that determination to push forward, it's only 3 months, getting over to that graduation date, and then once you get there, you just feel accomplished. You can finally call yourself a soldier, and you can just look back and think, wow, if I had given up, look what I would have missed, the career I would have given up on. Overall, the Army depends on the resilience of each individual soldier and within the squad to accomplish its operations around the world, to defend the nation. This can be seen in many historical examples. Two that I like to discuss would be, the first one would be the winter in Valley Forge during the American Revolutionary War. The Continental Army was very short on supplies. A lot of the soldiers were farmers who had very little winter clothing. A lot of them didn't even have shoes. They were walking around barefoot in the snow, and they pushed through that the very harsh winter of the time, and were able to get right back to battle against the British Army and eventually win the Revolutionary War afterwards. Another example I like to discuss would be the American invasion of Normandy during World War II, otherwise known as D-Day. As the troops landed, they were facing heavy resistance from the German forces. They were under heavy machine gun fire, there were mines, all kinds of craziness going on, and those soldiers pushed forward even as they watched their battle buddies fall around them against the heavy resistance, and they were eventually able to take the beach. And not only were they able to take the beach, but this was a turning point in the war, as this loosens the German hold on Europe and allowed the Allies to gradually begin pushing them back until their defeat in May of 1945. Okay, so within the squad, the first main method of developing and maintaining resiliency is having an effective leader. So to me, an effective leader is someone that not only gets the job done, but they take care of their soldiers, they make sure they maintain morale, and not only do they maintain morale and maintain resiliency, they understand the importance of resiliency within the squad, which is super important because if a leader doesn't understand resilience and maintain it, then there's no way that the job is going to get done. I think a good way to look at it is, as a leader, you're going to be feeling, say you're deployed and you're exhausted and the command wants you to do another mission after you've just gotten done with an all-day mission, you guys are hot, low on water, just overall exhausted and tired. You may have even lost a soldier and you're just feeling angry, and soldiers don't really know how to deal. But as a leader, you can't show that this is affecting you as much, even if it is. You have to stay strong for your soldiers. You have to keep pushing forward. You have to encourage them, even when you're feeling discouraged yourself. Because if soldiers see that their leader is feeling discouraged, then there's no way they can maintain their courage and cope with that fear and that exhaustion. It's a leader's job to get to know his soldiers and know how they're going to react to a stressful event, how well they can cope, so that he or she knows how to respond once a stressful event occurs. And overall, a leader is going to mentor and encourage those under them. So you're just going to build up that ability to respond to these events and to work together and depend on one another to push forward even when the going gets tough. All right, the second main method for maintaining and developing resilience in the squad is going to be squad cohesion. And this basically means that the squad works together to build up one another, to encourage one another, to get things done. And I think the first step in this is it goes back to like group dynamics and kind of developing those relationships, getting to know one another. Because once you're comfortable with your squad members, then you're going to be able to depend on one another. You feel like you can talk to each other. And this goes back to the leader as well, because you want to feel that you can go to your leader and discuss any concerns with them and get that reassurance that you may need. And emotional support is a big thing with squad cohesion, because when you're deployed or in a combat zone, I mean, the soldiers in your squad around you are the only people that you have to depend on. You don't have your family. Oh, you're okay, man. Just doing it for you. You don't have your family around to help you. You don't have any friends or family you can contact. And ultimately, with squad cohesion, stressful experiences bring us closer together. I mean, if you think back to the idea of the shark attack at the beginning of basic training, we all suffered through that together. We were all exhausted, and as a result, we all felt closer because we could all share our feelings about that stressful experience we experienced together. All right, and the last thing that's essential to building resiliency in the squad is persistence. And persistence is basically just the idea that you keep working at something even if you experience failure, if it seems like your current approach isn't working, and instead of just giving up, you just change your approach, or you determine what needs to happen in order to be successful. And it comes from that idea that nothing is impossible. And ultimately, the big thing with persistence is not only overcoming failure, but learning from failure. Because if you have the ability to learn from failure, then you can. Then failure teaches you how to better approach things. If you failed accomplishing a task one way, then you just can go at it another way, and then you find more effective ways of solving problems and getting things done. And with persistence, you just have to keep in mind that any hardship is only temporary. There is going to be bad days and there's going to be good days, but just get through those bad days and you'll be able to push through. Okay, so in today's brief, we defined resiliency. We discussed its importance to the squad, the Army as a whole, and we discussed the three main methods of developing resiliency in the squad, which are effective leadership, squad cohesion, and persistence. And my call to action for you today is to kind of be like a self-reflection. Just kind of look back on your life experiences and think about times when you've overcome hardships, when you accomplish things that you never thought you could, and just use that in the future, that anytime you're feeling discouraged, just think back, well, I did this, so I know that I can do this. Alrighty. So any questions for me today? Alright. Well, if there's no further questions, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this brief. Thank you, and have a nice day, everyone.